That's what I want to do.
Now it's your turn.
So hey, we're here in 24 Hours Inside. We're in CrossFit class, and I'm here with
Karen.
And I was talking about how'd you get into CrossFit?
I saw a Facebook ad for the New You Challenge in May, and I'm older, and I had just been diagnosed with osteoporosis, the kind of precursor to osteoporosis, and I knew I had to get back to working out. And I thought, oh, I don't know anything about CrossFit, but 6 weeks I can do that. And then I was just like stunned when I got here, and 4 weeks in, I thought I'm just going to make it to the end of this, and then I'm never doing this again. And I don't know. In those last 2 weeks, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the spirit of this place and the community, and just the opportunity to push myself farther than I thought I could be pushed.
And how does your body feel now after like the 6 weeks?
Well, that was in May, so I've been doing this for several months now, and I feel amazing, except I have a bad shoulder.
But they adhere to your problems, which is what I love about here.
Absolutely. They're so attentive and careful.
And do you have a favorite class from CrossFit?
I do the RX, the 6 a.m. RX, Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Will, and then I do Sunday RX with India, and then the mobility right afterwards.
So you do like what, 1-2 classes a day?
No, five a week.
Wow, that's more intensive.
4 RX in the mobility.
Oh, that's more intensive than most people do.
I'm insane.
No, it's good. When I first got into here too, 6 months ago, I loved it. I fell in love with it, just the community, the people, and I used to do 2 classes back to back. I was in better shape back then, so I used to do the RX and then the CrossFit downstairs.
How could you be in better shape then than you
Because it's been
now?
6 months I stopped. I came in for the Groupon. I love this place. It's a little pricey, but I love the place. The community itself is fantastic. Acceptable. Help you all the time.
Yeah.
Always coming in.
Yeah, it is pricey, but I'm lucky my boyfriend's paying for this.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for telling us that. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Keep on CrossFitting.
You too. Come back.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. Hey, this is Dima again. We're at CrossFit. I'm here with
Jacques.
Jacques. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How long have you been in CrossFit?
3 weeks actually. This is my 3rd week.
How do you feel about it?
Great. I've lost 6 pounds since.
Wow, that's pretty quick for.
Yeah. So you're getting results. As long as you push yourself, you'll get the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite activity in CrossFit that you like, or like one that you don't like because it's too hard, or whatever the reason?
I don't like are burpees. Don't let anybody hear that, but I don't like burpees.
Everyone says that.
Oh, yes.
What about favorite one that you like?
The favorite is actually what we just went through, the mobility. So that was my favorite part so far.
Opens up your body.
Gets you a little bit flexible. Yeah, and I know that I'm stiff, so I'll need it. It's actually good for you.
So I was watching, I'm like, I wish I was in the class. And are you building a goal out of this? Is it just losing weight or something else?
Well, initially my goal was to lose 10 pounds, but since I'm already at 6, I'm going to try to see if I could double that because it's a 6-week program. So I'll go ahead and see if I could work up to 12.
Cool. And do you have any, if people like are on the brink of joining CrossFit, like, do you have any advice for people?
Come in. There's no judgment or anything of that nature. It's a family here. I didn't even think I was able to do it.
Yeah.
But with the encouragement and the family atmosphere, I was able to. So I love it. I encourage anybody who, even if you have never worked out before, to come on in and get healthy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jack, so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
Now I have
Alex.
Alex. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hi there.
Hi. How long have you been in CrossFit? I've seen you here for a while, so I know you've been.
A year and 10 months now.
Wow. And what do you think about CrossFit? I mean, clearly you've been doing this for almost 2 years.
Right? Yeah, I really enjoy it. It keeps me in shape, keeps me motivated, and with coaches like Coach Stephanie, it's great. Really, you're very enthusiastic and encouraging.
And the community itself, like you're saying,
The community is great. I've met so many friends here. It's awesome. It's a great workout every time.
And they adjust it to whatever you need. If you have like a bad back or bad knee, they'll help you out.
Right, exactly. They let you do what you have to do to get through it.
Cool. And do you have any advice to people who are thinking about joining or not joining?
Don't be afraid. A lot of people are intimidated about CrossFit. I was a little bit, but you come in and they modify everything, and it's a great workout. You meet friends. It's an hour long. You can do anything for an hour, so just come in and do it.
And you end up looking great and feeling healthy.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you again.
Have a great night.
Too.
Bye. Hey guys, we're here in 24 Hours Inside. We're here with Stephanie in CrossFit. So I was curious, how did you start CrossFit?
So I started CrossFit in 2013. I had come to New York for a summer in college, and I had turned 21, and obviously I drank probably every day. I wasn't working out. I think I worked out the second day I was here. I did like a 2-mile run, and that was it.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And then, but then I just drank the rest of the summer.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and then I went back to Georgia because that's where I'm from, and I've always been active my whole life. And that summer, from January up until the end of that summer, I'd gained around 20 pounds. And I was driving around Atlanta, and I remember there was a day where I had to literally unbutton my pants because they were so tight that it literally felt like they were numbing my legs. And I think that's when I realized, like, this is not a good thing. You know, so I tried to do the whole P90X and Insanity, and I remember doing Insanity in my apartment, and I just started crying doing burpees, and I'm still working out, but I'm just crying because I felt so bad. Yeah. And so thankfully I had a friend who told me about CrossFit, and I joined, and like the day of, I was a college kid, and I dropped like $400 and was like, I'm doing this, like I have to do this for me. And then I just stuck to it. You know, that was it. My first workout, I remember, was an EMOM of burpees and sumo deadlift high pulls, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is fun, and everyone is sweating and dying with me, and I am enjoying it.
That's a small class, so you get to see everyone sweat.
Exactly, yeah.
Facial reaction.
Yeah, it was good.
So how'd you go from, I guess, taking class to being a trainer?
So I had I started in April of 2013, and I had in probably July or August, they hired a new coach. And at the time, it was kind of very similar to what we do here at Spot, where we have our RX class upstairs and our CrossFit down here. Yeah. And so I was doing just the RX classes, just kind of running, sweating, still doing some barbell work, but none of the heavy lifting. And when he came, I guess he saw my work ethic. I'm not sure. We never actually had that conversation, but I just remember he approached me. He's like, why aren't you doing like CrossFit classes? And he just kind of kept telling me, like, you need to do it, you need to do it. And I started doing CrossFit, and then he kind of took me under his wing, and I started working out outside of class as well. And then one day I just was like, I kind of wanted to do this, like not just work out, do this, but like coach, like be a part of people's lives, do this. So in January of 2014, I went and got my level 1 certificate, which is what you need to be a CrossFit coach. And thankfully the gym that so he moved gyms and I moved with him because, you know, we had a good connection. Like I felt like he had a lot of faith in me, and that helped a lot. And I moved with him, and the owner there thankfully gave me a chance. And I didn't start coaching at first. I was shadowing classes, and she would sit me down and we'd go over movements and how to teach a movement. And then she slowly just kind of let me take over my own classes, and that's kind of how it happened.
Cool. So like, I can imagine coaches' workouts different from the students' workouts. So take us through a workout for you.
So I would say most days my workouts tend to be more 2 to 3 hours, but that's also mainly because I want to be competitive in the sport of CrossFit, where some coaches will jump in with class and they'll maybe do their own kind of strength training or something. But my day kind of looks like I come in, I do my typical stretching, any mobility. If something feels extra tight that day, I'll focus a little more on that. And then working with Coach Akeen. So with him, he has our program and he kind of watches over us, and we'll start warming up. And usually the days that I work strictly with Coach Akeen are about 2-hour days of just lifting, where you would think isn't that bad, but by the end of it, you're covered in sweat and you think you're gonna die. Yeah. So typically those days I just strength train, maybe do a little bit of what we call endurance work, so working on a particular skill and building up our endurance with that skill. With other coaches, I've done where I do maybe an hour to hour and a half of strength training, and then I'll do some kind of conditioning at the end that's maybe 20, 30, max like 40 minutes of conditioning. So it just kind of varies. But I would say most days, I work out 6 days out of the week, but one of those days is what we call an active recovery day. So it could be running, it could be swimming, it could be rowing, it could just be a light walk around, just something that kind of gets the heart rate up but doesn't kill you. Yeah. So, yeah. Have you tried anything else besides CrossFit, or did you just fell in love with CrossFit, like, this is for me? I mean, I know you said you tried Insanity, but... Yeah. No, I mean, I've done sports my whole life. So I played basketball as a kid up until I was probably 14. I did cross country, I did track, I swam, I did soccer in college. But any of the other kind of quote unquote like culty fitness things, like fitting room that's here in New York, I've done classes and I've checked it out, but I think CrossFit has always kind of had a special place for me.
It was kind of the same for me. I tried CrossFit first, and I tried a few classes. It was a great group on promotion and just great promotion in general. CrossFit spot. But I've tried them out, and it just doesn't feel the same. Either like the trainer's just not as attentive to your skills, or just don't motivate, like, oh, just do this. You can't do it. Just wait for the next exercise. Just wait for the next exercise. And it's just, this feels like more like a real community. And it was kind of weird because usually like you don't expect that, right? Especially in New York City where everyone's like offish kind of. Here everyone's like, come on in, take a class. You can't do something, we'll adjust it for you. Too easy? No problem. We'll make it hard for you. And like there's never a CrossFit class where I just took and I was like, oh, I got plenty of energy. It was always like, I'm tired, but it was so much fun. And I brought a few people back here to try with me. It was tough for them too, but it's a great feeling.
Yes. I do think we have a very special family here at Spot. I think we have really great coaches. I've definitely been to other gyms in the city where, and maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of a hard judger of coaches. I have very high standards for what I expect to see in a coach. And maybe that's not always a good thing, but it's there. And so if I go to another gym, I'm like, ooh, like I'm not, me just knowing like I would never come take a class here because you don't know what you're doing, or you're not attentive, or you're on your phone a lot, or you're just kind of like hanging out with your little group of friends. And I think we do a really good job here of, yes, we have our members and we have the people that we're close to, and I'll be like, hey, what's up? But I still try and very much focus on people and helping everyone in the class. My big focus is coming to everyone in the class.
Yeah, like we took a video of the class and we saw you, every single person, I'll just adjust this here a little bit, or maybe move this back, or hey, you're doing perfect. Keep on doing what you're doing. Just moving down, just really being helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I mean, that's how you build a community. If you don't feel like you're not, and because it is a class, like it's very easy to get lost in a class. And so it's very important as a coach that you focus on every single person at some point during the class, you know, or they're not going to come back. And, you know, being a coach, like I love my people and I want my people to come back, you know? Yeah,
because I took an Equinox class once and it's massive. The coach is just like talking on a microphone. She's not attentive to anyone. It's just, I mean, Equinox is expensive place, like $200-300 a month.
Minimum.
Exactly, and they have good bath soap. But I mean, really, I mean, if you're just going for a good bath soap, you can just go bed body.
Your own,
Exactly, So, but this is, I like it.
Thank you.
So I was talking to some people before, and they had a few questions. Like, do you believe, is breakfast a good thing? Like, do you eat breakfast? Do you support?
Oh my God, breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I would definitely say, at least for me, when I do very, very, very early morning workouts, and especially when I was just taking classes when I first started CrossFit, I would maybe have a banana. It's just hard because to be able to digest that food that early in the morning, like, first of all, it's just hard to eat that early in the morning. Like, the last thing you want to do at the moment you wake up is, like, stuff your face, you know? So I definitely understand the early morning people that come in at the 5:30, 6:30, 7:30 classes where they're like, I didn't eat anything or eat a banana. I understand that. You know, I was the same way. But I definitely would say, even if you don't do that, even if you just have a protein shake or a power bar or something like that, it is so essential to have breakfast, though. Very, very important meal of the day, even if it's a little later in the morning.
Like, what about like 10, 11 o'clock?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have 2 breakfasts. But that's also because
big fan of breakfast, I see.
I do. But that's also just because of the time my work day starts and my workout day starts. You know, like I wake up in the morning somewhere between 3:40 and 4:10 in the mornings.
Wow.
Yeah, and so then I'll try and eat something that early. I actually just started a ketogenic diet though, so my first breakfast is actually just a cup of coffee, but it has butter in it. Yeah, it's weird. Butter, it has what's called an MCT oil and collagen, which is really good for your joints. And so I put all 3 of those in it, and then I just drink that, and that kind of holds me over for my first like 3 or 4 hour classes in the morning, and then I have like breakfast, like eggs and all that good stuff. Okay. Yeah.
People have been asking, like, is it better to do cardio first, weightlifting first, or like in your preference, or just?
For what exactly? In what sense?
I guess like if you're gonna do a workout, right? And you want to do an hour workout, what would you start with first?
I would It also looks at what you're trying to target. But I would say probably do your strength training first, because you don't want to, you're still fresh, and so you're still going to be able to focus on your form. Versus when you're doing cardio first, by the time you get to your strength, you're like, I'm already tired, I'm already out of breath, and you're not focusing so much on making sure you're in the correct position.
And what about if you do strength training first? How should you warm up for it? Or do you warm up at all?
For strength training?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That's when you want to do any of the mobility things, like making sure you warm up your joints, making sure that you get your hips ready to explode, especially if you're doing Olympic lifting, because it's such an explosive sport. You want to make sure that you're ready to go for it. So a lot of body weight stuff. I mean, I probably do 20 to 30, maybe 40, like just air squats and the sequence that I do for opening up my hips. I get my shoulders ready, especially I kind of have, recently I've been getting kind of tight shoulders. So I really focus on opening up my chest, opening up my shoulders, making sure my back's ready to work as well. But you definitely want to warm up. And then just once you touch the bar, doing a few reps at just empty barbells. Or even if you start with the training bar or a PVC and then building up to a barbell.
And PVC is just an empty,
it's
like
just
a 20-pound, no, it's not.
It's not even. It's
it's just a little bar that you use to stretch you out.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's very helpful,
Yeah, very, very. So just little things like that. But you want to make sure you're hitting the repetitions. And when you're warming up, you really want to make sure that you're moving correctly in the warm-up. Obviously, as it gets heavier, it gets a little harder. But if you can just keep drilling that over and over, like this is the position, this is the position, this is what it feels like. As you get heavier, eventually that muscle memory will build into it.
Is there, I guess, a universal exercise which is good for everyone who's doing CrossFit? Just like entry level.
Squats.
Squats.
If you can perfect your air squat, it'll change so much of your work. Your air squat, your deadlifting, which is important, very important too. And there's actually one movement that I have grown to love as a coach wanting to teach, and I think it really translates into everything, is your overhead squat. Which is literally just holding, like, even if it's just holding your hands overhead or holding something very light overhead and squatting. Because the moment you do one, it shows any imbalances you might have in your body, whether it's your shoulders, your hips, your ankles, anything that is not moving correctly, I will see it, and I can kind of start working on your body and helping you fix it.
So it's kind of like a test to see what a person's at in general.
Exactly.
It's a good limit test.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you can perfect your overhead squat, you're good. You're going to be, mobility-wise, you're going to be good. Which makes me feel more comfortable giving you heavy weight to work with.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you say you're competitive. Are you working towards a goal? Are you trying to compete in the Reebok games? Or?
Yeah, so the goal is to eventually make it to CrossFit Games. And that is a goal that I've had, I think, since I started CrossFit a few months into it. It hasn't been easy, and I've literally kind of molded my life around it. You know, I was living in Georgia, and I was like, I'm not finding the coach that I need here. So I kind of uprooted my whole life and moved to New York. And since then, I've had some really great coaches. For one reason or another, just haven't been able to keep working with them. The first one I had, I fractured my ankle, and I just kind of dropped off CrossFit for a little bit. Still coaching it, but just doing it for myself. So, but we're back at it. That's the goal. The goal is to be, I'm a very competitive person, so.
I've watched the CrossFit Games, and it's like live action heroes. Everyone is just crazy jacked.
Yeah.
And just carrying logs or just walking handstands. They do things I didn't even think was possible.
Yeah.
It was just like,
what are you doing?
wait, and you're doing this for 2 hours straight, just.
And for fun. What?
Yeah. And it's just, it's beautiful. And even the cool thing is that you see how tired it is. Like anyone, no matter how much in shape you're, wears you out.
Exactly.
And that's the beautiful thing. It's an equalizer.
Exactly.
No matter how good you are or how bad you are, you're going to have the same end result. You're going to love it and be tired.
Exactly. So it's great. It's amazing to watch them. I mean, you know, we have Carrie Pierce here at Spot. And just watching her work out, it's inspiring. Like, and just, I mean, even if she's just doing her strength training and she's squatting, you're just like, you're a superhero.
Yep.
You know, like you really are a superhero. Like it's amazing to watch them, and it's very inspiring. It's kind of like, all right, like it gives you an idea of like, all right, like this is what I need to do too. Like maybe not the numbers, but the dedication that they
and
put
the form
into it.
and just everything in general. Yeah.
You know?
Like you said, you do 2-3 hours.
Yeah. So, and just watching her dedication, I mean, you know, you have an idea of what it means to have to work for it, but when you see an actual athlete and what I mean, they give up a lot of their life, you know, for this, and to see that, you're like, okay, like, I can do it too. You know, you see it and you're like, it is not an unrealistic goal.
Yeah. So it's a lot of dedication, a lot of hours, waking up early like you do, 3, 4 in the morning, staying late, eating the right things.
Yes, eating correctly. Your nutrition is such a big thing. And I think that's another thing I would tell anyone who has a serious goal, no matter what it is, and even if it's not being competitive, but a health goal of I want to be a better me, and I want to be a healthier version of me, if your nutrition isn't aligned with that goal, it's going to be so much harder. Yeah. Because nutrition is such an important part of it. It's
not even calorie count. It's just eating the right amount of food to energize your body in the right way. Because every food, even if it's like the same 100 calories, impacts you differently.
Exactly. And I think one thing that society, and just eating out in restaurants, one thing society has done a lot is they haven't given us realistic goals of what portion size is supposed to look like. Yeah. Like we think a normal portion is what we get when we go to a restaurant, and actually that's about 2, 3, sometimes even 4 portions of what we're supposed to be eating.
It's like 1,800 calories, 2,000, 3,000 just for like a steak and some mashed potatoes.
Exactly.
It's like, and this should be my only meal for the day, and that's it. Or then even some.
Exactly. So most of the things that we eat out, like you should only, like you can save it for a second meal later in the day or the next day, like in all honesty. Yeah. But sometimes it's hard because you see it and you're like, this is so good, and you like want to eat all of it.
Yep, been there.
Yeah. Oh, we've all been there.
Everyone has.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people who are trying to get into CrossFit or thinking about it, like yes, no, or?
I would definitely say, I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm going to work out on my own and then I'll come in. Like, I'll get ready for it. And I think that you can't get ready for it. You just have to do it. There's no, because we're going to get you ready for it. You know, as a coach, I'm going to make sure you're ready for whatever you're doing. So I think just taking that step. I know it's scary, and I know the CrossFit Games makes it seem like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing, but you're not doing that.
Yeah, it's different levels. Exactly. Entry and then professionals, it's like athletes.
The Olympics, what the people in the Olympics do, you're not going to be doing. No. You know, and it's the same thing.
But you could if you dedicate yourself for it. Yeah, exactly. If you want, you can do it. But
so I would definitely say, just get in there. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just get in there. One thing I always tell people when they first start is don't look at the workouts for the first 2 or 3 months you start.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of gyms will post their workouts online or something. Don't look at it, because then you'll psych yourself out. Just come in, whatever it says, you're just like, all right, that's what I'm doing. I'm here.
I kind of psych myself out a few times, like, oh, burpees. Maybe not today.
Maybe not today. Yeah.
But then you realize burpees are really helpful. I mean, everyone jokes about how burpees are tough, but they're good for you, and they build up your whole body. Exactly. Do you want to say something about burpees in general?
Oh, I love burpees.
Really? I thought you didn't like it when you first started.
Oh, no, I love burpees. It also helps that I'm short. So burpees are good. I mean, because you're not traveling as far. So some things are good for short people.
So if they want to find you, where can they find you?
So you can find me on social media. I'm on my Instagram a lot. So my Instagram handle is StephanieB15, but Stephanie is spelled STEPHANY. Then the letter B and then 15. And it's an open account. I'm not private, so you can just follow me, or you can just stalk me and not follow me too. That's okay. Yeah. Same thing with my Facebook page, Stephanie Bolivar, BOLIVAR. And then here at Spot. I literally am here 5-6 days a week, so you can always come in and find me and take a class.
Yep. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a great day.